Richard Crouse.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I felt a little bored. I mean, nothing like a quick paraphrase of a classic REM song to sum up my feelings toward the latest end-of-the-world CGI spectacular from Roland Emmerich. Unlike the 1970s disaster genre, which tended to focus on one particular mishap, like a sinking ship or maybe an office tower that burst into flames, 2012 is an all-purpose disaster movie. Emmerich lays it on thick, utilizing earthquakes, tsunamis, and every other natural catastrophe in the Master of Disaster Handbook to bring life as we know it to a screeching halt. The film centers around a global doomsday event coinciding with the end of the Mayan long count calendar's current cycle on December 21st, 2012. In other words, 4 days before Christmas 2012, the world goes boom. California falls into the sea, the South Pole ends up somewhere in Wisconsin, and the Himalayas are submerged underwater. Staying one step ahead of the devastation is divorcee Jackson Curtis, played here by John Cusack, who pulls out all the stops to get his ex-wife, kids, and a handful of stragglers to a life-saving Noah's Ark in China called the Genesis. Now, the 15-year-old boy in me enjoyed watching the world blow up real good. The adult in me, however, wanted characters I could believe in, or at least care a little bit about. It's not exactly the actor's fault that I didn't warm to or care about anyone on screen. They were simply doing their best with a script that had clearly been run through the cliché-o-matic before filming began. Now, occasionally the cheesy dialogue will raise a smile. During a lover spat, one character says to another, "I feel like something is pulling us apart," as an earthquake splits the floor between them. But more often than not, each and every character is saddled with dialogue that would make Ed Wood Jr. beam with pride. As all hell is breaking loose, of course, the President of the United States says to his daughter, "You look just like your mother when you get mad," and everything is the, quote, "most important insert event here in the history of mankind." 1,000 monkeys banging away on 1,000 typewriters for a week could probably have written the script. But clever wordplay is not why we go to see movies like this. We go to revel in the make-believe orgy of destruction. Nothing much happens in the first 40 minutes, however. We meet the large cast, but by the time George Segal shows up, the cameo quotient begins to resemble an episode of The Love Boat. But when the Earth's crust begins to destabilize at the 40-minute mark, many spectacular scenes of world demolition follow. Now, I hope you have a huge appetite for destruction, because the next 2 hours, that's pretty much all that happens. 2012 becomes an end-of-the-world spectacle to end all end-of-the-world spectacles, which works if a doom boom is all you're interested in, but after a while, the elaborate special effects become visual white noise. Emmerich could have kept up interest a little bit more by adding some real drama beyond timers counting down to zero and placing the hero in life-or-death situations that you know he's certainly going to survive, or by shortening the running time. At a butt-numbing 2 hours and 40 minutes, 2012 feels like the end of the world is actually playing out in real time. But instead, Emmerich was content to fill the screen with flashy CGI and very little else.
Richard Crouse.